Hey, this is Robert the Racin-Teach, and I am doing my little review on my Velotric e-bike. So if you've been on social media at all, you've actually seen a big old campaign about the Velotric e-bikes. At least they've been popping up in my feed, and a lot of people, once you type in e-bike or anything, all of a sudden they just start showing up, right? So Velotric showed up. Now, it reminds me very much of my older e-bike, which I really loved, but it was just getting old and a lot of miles on it. So I took a look and took a gamble on this guy. Now, that's the thing. We did take a gamble on this guy. Now, I must say, it is a step-through. I love step-throughs, especially when you got cargo on it. Now, let's take a look at this thing here, because it's actually a lot of bike for the money. I actually got it on the summer sale. And believe it or not, the summer sale, made it super duper affordable. I think I paid about $1,100 and got a few extras like a lock, and I'm waiting for a water bottle, which I don't hold my breath on the water bottle. And we'll get into that in a bit. But, it's a pretty basic, pretty sturdy little e-bike. I would definitely not hesitate in riding it around. As a matter of fact, I'm riding it around now. I use this to go to the stores, run errands, and kind of just when I don't want to drive anymore. So it's very basic. It's basically a 7-speed drivetrain, very low level tourney, which surprisingly is like the lowest of the smallest stuff, but it actually works pretty well. Single speed front ring, 7-speed in the back, tourney. Now, I will say one thing. I do hate this right here. This is probably one of the few things I like and dislike about it, is this shifter system right here. It's horrible. It's not a bike rider's system, if you know what I mean. It's kind of it's very good for an entry-level rider. So it's very basic and simple like that. But like, I'm a seasoned rider, and it's a very uncomfortable shifter. But it does the job. It actually does it very good. And since we're up here in the front, let's go ahead and look at the display. It's a very cool display. You can see that pretty much day and night, not a problem. Great visible, centered in the bars. You see I have an extra I added for my phone mount. When you get the bike, the other thing you're going to notice is these bars are actually straight. The very first thing I did is I changed the bars. The bars were very, I set back a little too much for my riding style, so I wanted a straight bar with a rise. I went to a straight bar and a rise. I angled things a little different to fit me ergonomically, adjusted the grips, the brakes. The bell is even kind of ergo, so I can grab it real quick. These grips aren't too bad. They're fairly comfy. Yes, this is a throttle, so it's there. And I don't like using throttles very much, but I've actually started to use a throttle on this bike for a reason. And I can fill you in on that in a few. But for the most part, the battery's integrated in here. Not a bad fit and finish. It's actually got a little gaps here and there, and I've tried to, lock it in several times, but it makes contact, isn't going anywhere. There's the key to release it. And I haven't had to charge it yet. Now, I've had this bike about a week. I've been riding it off and on. Still got plenty of battery. Now, you'll notice back here, it's a really cool thing about this. When you have the systems integrated, that is actually a tail light and brake light. So when you do apply the brakes, it flashes on. Now, this rack right here is the center of a lot of controversy. It holds a max of 25 kilograms. It's actually quite a bit of weight, pretty sturdy, but it holds most bags. And here's the dilemma right now. So when I ordered this bike, one of the big things I liked about it was the fact that it did come with a rear rack already on it. And now the new versions don't. So there you go. It's an add-on. You're going to have to buy it. Something else this thing's really got, it's kind of cool. It's got a built-in headlight and reflector, of course, just in case. Disc brakes. Now let's talk disc brakes, okay? So the one that I thought I was buying had mentioned that it was going to have hydraulic disc brakes and a 5-mode power assist. 5 weeks later, I get a 3 power assist and mechanical brakes. Now, not a fan of mechanical brakes. especially when you're pushing this much weight. The bike is fairly heavy. It is an e-bike. It's got a motor. It's got a battery and a hub drive motor. So I am leery of that. One more downside with this thing. There's a couple. Now, be it what it is, it's actually, for what you pay, it's actually quite a bit of bike. That fork, sadly, has a lot of bushing play in it. So under hard braking, you're going to get a lot of front wheel chatter. You're going to get the front end flexing a lot. And you're going to start hearing some chatter coming off the front end. Now, once again, the average rider might never, ever, ever notice that. Okay? So, may not be an issue. Here's one more big problem with this bike. That seat post, that is maxed and actually beyond max, and it's still not enough for me. It's a 380 millimeter seat post. I'm at 33 inch inseam. I cannot get leg extension. The seat that came with the bike was this big giant monstrosity universal seat. I threw on something that I'm more accustomed to riding. So that's been done so far, and the straight bars have been done so far. But I've actually got a new post coming on here because I think every e-bike should have some sort of suspension post. So I've actually got a Connect seat post that I'm going to be putting on here momentarily, and I'm going to be adjusting the front end here. Now, to fix this, we basically adjust via the buttons here. It does reset of the odometer. It changes the different modes. You can change the kilometers or mile per hour, whatever you want to do. So there's there. And like I said, the brakes, they're, you know, cable activated brakes. All the wiring's tidied up, nice and wrapped up. Quick connect connectors. Pretty standard, you know, basic bike. 26-inch wheels. It's something to get used to. Again, my last e-bike had 27.5s. The 26 is pretty good. It's a pretty big tire. Now, the internet has a forum for these bikes, so you can hear what people are saying about them. One of the big issues is when these bikes come from Velotric, they're partially assembled. The front fender, on the other hand, is not come on the bike. Now, I will say that the packaging on the bike from Velotric is pretty freaking amazing. It's actually really solid, safely packed. Something got poured on my box, which actually ruined the shipping label, and it almost didn't get delivered. Luckily, I had caught that something was up and notified FedEx, and FedEx ended up delivering the bike. I'm not going to get into FedEx right now because I watched them deliver the bike, and I'm surprised the bike did not have more damage, if damage at all. He literally threw the bike on my porch. But anyway, that's, you know, I'm sorry. Those guys and girls who work FedEx, I mean, I get it. Everybody says they're overworked. I get it, but they're making more money than I am, and I'm a school teacher. So anyways, besides the point. Like I said, nice, simple bike. Now, let's get to the downsides of this bike. There are a few, okay? Now, it's a solid frame. I don't think this frame's going to crack, break, or do anything. I went with a step-through, and the reason why I went with a step-through is because when you have your bags on here, and it does accept standard, you know, bags, when they clip on here, it's a lot of bags sometimes. Let me see if I can get this bag on while I'm doing this one-handed here. So I've got a nice set of bags, and they just clip right in. The rack holds them nicely. And these are my waterproof bags. So the thing with the step-on, the reason why I went with a step-through is because when the bags are both on, I get tired of stepping and throwing my legs over the back. And now, let me get these bags on here. Sorry about that. The bush is there. So there you go. Bags are on, ready to go. Nice thing is now I can just step right through the frame here, and voila, I'm done. Water bottle cage mounts are down below. Not an issue. Some people say, oh, I'm not going to put my bottle down there. I don't have an issue with it. It's kind of nice having it there, to be honest with you. Seat posts. This seat post, for those who want to know how to adjust it, loosen here. And there's a screw right there where my finger's pointing. You can tilt and adjust and do everything you need to do to that seat. Big issue that people are having. Brakes need to be adjusted, and a lot of people are taking the bike right out of the box under the assumption that everything's adjusted. I would never ride a bike without having these brakes properly adjusted. Brakes are your vital important, like most important thing on this bike. They need to be adjusted properly. If you don't know what the heck you're doing, go to a bike shop, pay them a couple bucks and get it done. Now, with that being said, I was under the impression that I was getting hydraulic brakes. I didn't get hydraulic brakes, I got mechanical operated brakes. Here's the thing, because of supply chain issues and mid-year changes to the bike, they actually gave us an allowance to replace these with a cable activated hydraulic brake. Now, I've used those in the past. I actually like them. They're pretty simple and easy to maintain. So I've actually got a set coming in, and I'll be throwing those on, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. A couple other things that I didn't like. Some of this machining in here is really rough, so I'm actually smoothing it down, facing it, before I put the good brakes on. Most bikes don't come faced, and they're really hard to adjust the disc brakes. Now, this comes from years of working in a bike shop. I am a mechanic. I've worked in bike shops. I've built custom bikes for people. I've raced them. I've done everything around bikes. I've been in a bike shop since I'm 18. I'm now 53. So I got some time in here with bikes. I know what I'm talking about. Here's something else that's kind of nice. This headset, this bike can actually be, pardon the plane and panning up here. I can actually upgrade this fork to an 1 1/8 steer tube fork, which would give me some great suspension and control with this bike. Being that it's so heavy, it seems like they went with, I haven't pulled that stem apart yet. It may be an 1/8 inch steer tube, but I can definitely put something beefier under this bike. It's a 26 inch, looks like a 700C fork. I can probably do something. I can find something. There's stuff out there. It actually looks like it's almost too narrow for this tire, but there's stuff out there that can be upgraded if you choose to. If you're a heavier rider, I definitely would suggest upgrading that fork. There's just a lot of flex in it. I could grab it right now and push it back and forth, and you're going to tell you, I'll actually show you right there. See all that oil coming out of it? This is 3 rides in, okay? Velotric is going to see this video, whether they want to or not, because they've stopped accepting my phone calls. So there we go. Here's the downside to this. There is a long wait for this bike. The demand is high. They don't have enough. They did a change on it. It's causing some problems. If you were to order this bike now, there are a few in stock that you would get within the week. However, there are a few that you are not going to see until mid-October. Now, mind you, this is the Discover 1. There is also a Nomad, and that's not even planning to launch until the middle of October now. But if you do get one of these now, here's what you get. You get 5 pedal assist levels, which is what everybody really needs. And that's actually what I recommend for this bike. And you get the hydraulic disc brakes. However, you will not get the rack. And I will say that rack is worth its weight in gold. So I wish they would settle it and just throw the rack back on and be done and call it even. 2, their customer service is horrible. I think it's one of the slowest responding. It may be 1 or 2 people there, I'm not sure. Definitely really slow to respond to emails, and phone calls are within a certain amount of hours only, and half the time they don't pick up and you don't get called back. That's the downside, the negative to this. Now, one more negative, and it's a little bit of a safety issue. Now, I'm an experienced rider, many years of riding e-bike, standard bike, acoustic bike, motor bike, you name it. Pedal assist 1 on the 3-speed is almost dangerous in a turn. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're around surface streets, city streets here, you're cruising around, you're trying to do that little U-turn, turn up on the sidewalk or something. The minute you put power onto that, this thing jumps from 0 to 10 miles per hour. And if you're in the middle of a turn, it will actually lift the front wheel off, and you will go down if you're not ready for it. So my bypass for that is, since all bikes have to have a safety, you actually pull the brake lever while you're starting to make the turn, and it actually will kill the power enough for you to safely make the turn. Once you've gone straight, you can let go of it, and it will pedal up right up to 10 miles per hour. So there you go. That is how it goes down. Otherwise, I think the bike is great. Now, from what I'm hearing, the Power Assist 5 eliminates that issue, and I don't know. I have a 3. They won't confirm anything. I'm hearing rumors. We'll find out. Anyway, so overall, though, I'd probably give this thing about a 4. I wish I could give it a 5 on stars and reviews. It's a nice bike. It rides comfortably. Once I get the seat post to my height, I think I'm going to be even happier. I'll have more follow-up and feedback. I'm going to get the hydraulic brakes put on and just get this thing more dialed in. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Robert the Racin-Teach. And like I said, hopefully Velotric takes care of it. Like I said, right now the 5 PAS, Power Assist system, is coming on the new bikes, and I think that's going to eliminate the issues with that. But won't know until it's done. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, everybody.